Good morning, children. I hope you all are well and completed your test properly. I wish you get good marks in your unit test. So, now let's proceed further with our chapter Learning Science. Before starting the chapter, I wish to show you few pictures. Let's see what is there. What you can say about this picture? This is a picture of village women who are going far away to fetch water. Then this picture, you can say that this is a picture of an farmer who is sitting in his field where he can see that no crop has grown and the whole field, whole land has become barren because of the inavailability, scarcity of water. We all are knowing that every year thousands of farmers are doing suicide because of lesser rainfall, because as the rainfall is less, their crops do not grow properly and they are not able to get the good income from their fields. Then this third picture shows you a small bird which is trying to drink water from the tap, but the tap is totally dry, so the water is not coming from that tap. So we can say this all are the pictures of water scarcity, and this also conveys the message that water is important for all these living creatures as well as for human beings. Now this is one of the fact info. Water use has been growing at more than twice the rate of population increase in the last century. You can see in the graph increase in water withdrawal by 2025, 50% developing countries and only 18% are developed countries. By 2025, it is an survey which says that 1800 million people will be living in countries or regions with absolute water scarcity, and two-thirds of the world population could be under stress condition. So this info makes us feel something to think about the water scarcity and availability of water. So by seeing all the above pictures, you might have come to know that we are going to start the chapter, that is chapter 16, Water, a Precious Resource. It is a precious resource because it is useful for all the living creatures to survive. As we all know, water is one of the basic need of living organism like food, air. Similarly, water is also one of the basic necessity to survive for living organism. Along with that, different activities which we do with the help of water, that makes it more precious. So let's see what is there. This is one of the picture. You can see why we can say water is a precious resource. For human being, we are knowing that 70 to 75% of what our human body is made up of water. Why we are saying this? You can see the different body parts, different organs of our body which are having different amount, different percentage of water in it. Like brain, it is having 80% water. Lungs is using 90% of water. Bones 30%, blood is having 83% water content, skin, our skin contains 64% water, our eyes contain 95% water, our heart is having 75% water, and similarly muscles also 75%. So from this figure we can come to know that how much water is important to human body. So it is a precious resource without which we cannot survive. There is a famous quote which is given into your textbook also. If you have water, you can think of future. If water is not there, what this quote suggests, if water is not there, we cannot think for the future, because if water will not be there, we would not be alive, and if we would not be alive, how we can think of the future which is coming to us. So water is important and we should preserve it. You might be knowing World Water Day is celebrated on 22nd March. This fact you should know. It is given onto your textbook page number 193. Then, as we all are knowing that water is important to us, it is a precious resource, so we should know how much water is available on this earth. So about 71% of the earth's surface is covered with water, because as we see the earth from the space, it looks blue because it is containing 71% water only. But all that water is not fit for human consumption. Almost all the water on the earth is contained in the sea and oceans, rivers, lakes, ice caps, as groundwater, and in the atmosphere as well. Most of this water is not fit for human consumption. The water that is fit for human consumption or human use is known as fresh water. That 71% water which is available on the earth, it is mostly saline water, salty water. It is mostly salty water. So that salty water we cannot use, because if we'll use it, we will get different skin diseases as well as jaundice like chronic diseases. So we cannot use that thing. Only we require fresh water for our human use. Water is a natural resource that is vital for both plants and animals. It is vital means important for both plants as well as animals, because plants also require water to carry out their life processes like transpiration, photosynthesis, respiration. For all that process, it also requires water. Water exists in abundance on our planet Earth. You can see the picture form. On our earth, sea and ocean contains 97.41% water, where fresh water is very less. Fresh water you can see that is only 2.59%, and that is further divided into two forms, that is glaciers and ice caps, and the other part is groundwater. As we all are knowing, glaciers and ice caps are in the solid snow form. So glaciers and ice caps is in snow form, so that water we cannot use. Then groundwater, which is below the ground, only 0.014% water is in the form of, which is readily available fresh water which we can use, that is in lakes, in rivers, then water vapor, soil moisture, and also in plants and animals. So this only 0.014% water is readily available fresh water which we can use it. Other water is not readily available and can't be used. For using all those things we have to do different processes, then only that water will be useful for us. Then forms of water. There are three states of water or forms of water which we can say, that is solid, liquid and gaseous. I hope you might be knowing about this. Here it is the diagram of form of water. First one is ice, which freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, which can be converted into liquid form water, where it remains liquid up to 100 degrees Celsius. Above 100 degrees Celsius it changes to steam, or we can say water vapor form. So these are the three form: solid form ice, then liquid is water, and then water vapor or steam. Water on the earth has been maintained for millions of years by various processes which make the water cycle. When water circulates through the water cycle, it can be found in all the three forms, that is solid, liquid and gas, at any given time somewhere on the earth. The solid form, snow and ice, is present as ice caps at the poles of the earth, snow-covered mountains and glaciers. So, solid form is available in the form of ice caps on the poles, mountains and glaciers. So, this form is not usable to us. Then, liquid water is present in oceans, lakes, rivers and even underground, where we are knowing oceans water, that is salty water, can't be used for human purpose. Only lakes, rivers and underground water can be used, and also by refining it. Without refining we cannot use it directly from it. Then the gaseous form is the water vapor present in the air around us. It is only in the gaseous form that cannot be used for us. It can be used by the plants, but we human beings can't use it. So this continuous cycling of water among its three forms keeps the total amount of water on the earth constant, even the whole world is using it. So the amount of water is remaining constant, means it is not changing, but its form gets changed, and if the form gets changed, all the three forms we cannot use, only the liquid form of water we can use. So to remain it in liquid form we have to conserve it. Now water cycle, this maybe you would be knowing about it. The continuous circulation of water in nature is called water cycle, or we can say the continuous circulation of water in its three different forms is called water cycle. So as you can see in the picture, first is clouds, from there rain is coming down, then evaporation, waterfall, then again from the oceans evaporation is taking place. That evaporation makes the clouds, and from there condensation takes place, and again the rain falls on the earth. So this whole cycle is continuously running, that is called water cycle. Evaporation is the process where the conversion of liquid to vapor, the liquid water is converted to vapor form, that is evaporation. Then the second stage comes of condensation, where the conversion of vapor to liquid. Vapor, that is water vapor, which has reached to the clouds and again it is falling in the form of rain, that is the process called condensation. Then precipitation, the falling down of water from clouds. Condensation is the process which takes place inside the clouds, and after that precipitation takes place, that means falling down. Okay. Then transpiration, the loss of water through water vapor form is called transpiration, which is done by the plants. They used to release water in the form of water vapor. We used to see now on leaves water droplets. That water droplets is coming out because of transpiration process. Then on the page number 196, you can see one picture there, that is figure 16.5. It shows you the water cycle. There it is asked you to match the numbers with the jumbled word which are given on its side. So here I have given you the answers. The first one is ground water, then the second one is evaporation, then third one is condensation, fourth is clouds, fifth is transpiration, then sixth here it is infiltration process, and the last one is precipitation. So this is water cycle. From picture you can come to know the groundwater is available below the ground and it is reaching there by the process of infiltration. Then that water, as well as water of water bodies and water in the plants, that all gets evaporated and it is reaching to the clouds, and there that clouds are converting these vapors into liquid form by the process called condensation. When these clouds comes together and strike with each other, it falls, the water falls in the form of rain, that is called precipitation. So this is the cycle, water cycle, you can say from this picture, that is infiltration, transpiration, evaporation, condensation, then again precipitation. So this is about water cycle. You would be more clear if you'll read out your textbook about this chapter. We'll meet in the next video with the continuation of this chapter. By the time you read out the textbook twice and thrice, so that you would be more clear and your concept will be more fixed. Thank you.